Good morning, guys. It's a little bright out here. Try not to do it this way. I'll be in this end, but anyways, today is I'm gonna get a lot done in the garden today, and I did upload 3 videos, so hopefully you will take a look at those and subscribe to my channel. Anyways, today I'm going to start out by pruning the asparagus and then interplanting either beets, or I have kale and Brussels sprouts, but I think they'll take too long before the asparagus decides it wants to grow back again. So anyways, hang tight for that, and I will show you some shots here in a second. I'm gonna switch around. So here's the asparagus bed. Definitely needs a haircut. And when I prune it back is when it starts to look like it's dying back. See all that brown? That's not from lack of water. It's been getting plenty of water. So I'm going to cut it back. And I mean, as you can see, it is a jungle. Trying to walk through here is interesting. And during the summertime, you have to be really careful because snakes could be hiding under there. So anyways, hang tight and I'll get this pruning and show you when I'm done. So what I do is I just cut it down to ground level, and that's it. So I'm going to do that with this whole bed and see if the chickens want any, and we'll go from there. So as we can see, I just clip them back down to the close to the ground. I'm pulling weeds as I go. Last year I had sowed beets 3 times through here and nothing came of it, but I'm gonna get this amended and some fertilizer on there and see if I can grow beets again. So that's what the plan is, and that only took me a couple minutes, so this shouldn't take me very long at all. Okay, it's all done, and I did need to straighten out the lines. Let's see, it looks like some of the soil is shifted, so I'm gonna get it filled in some of the bare spots, only because this was built kind of very last minute, and that is downhill, so it's up on cinder blocks, and anyways, it works for us. One nice thing about this asparagus bed is this was its second bloom, so second year. Next year we will be able to harvest about 1/3 of it, and then after that we can harvest pretty much as we want. You leave some, but I was kind of worried that we weren't going to have enough. I think we had planted 30 plants, maybe 33, no, 30, and I don't think one turned up. But I didn't think we were going to get enough to maybe can. And I mean, by looking at that clump right there and this clump right there, I mean, that's technically like one bunch of asparagus, and then that one over there. So we might be able to maybe can a few jars and not eat that much at first. I'm considering that when we plant out there, that I do another asparagus bed, but the whole length, because there is going to be another barrier fence where that barbed wire fence is. So I'm considering doing a whole bed there. So that would be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 40 feet. And you know what they say about asparagus is kind of like trees. Trees, you plant them 20 years ago. Or the best time to plant trees was 20 years ago. The best time to plant asparagus was 3 years ago. Because that's how long it takes before you can eat on it. Anyways, so I'm going to get this amended, and let's see. I'm going to get this amended and fertilized and planted with something for the winter. So stay tuned. Okay, I've moved on to a few other things, but I got, oops, excuse me, shadow. That pot cleaned out. It had some of that bad dirt in it, so I got it replaced with potting mix, and I'm planting a marjoram because my herb are there. So it's sage and thyme and chives. And I have oregano there. I have rosemary in the house that I did a cutting from before the plant died. I think it was getting too much water. And I have pineapple mint, lemon balm, and regular mint over there that's not doing so good. But hopefully it'll bounce back. And then I have bee balm also in there. So, and there was a parsley in the green stalk, and I moved it over there in between the bell peppers. So that's what I'm doing right now, getting this all organized and put on the drip system so I don't have to hand water or forget to hand water. I think that's what happened to the mint. Anyways, I'm going to time in, the drip line's just right there. So I'm just going to run a little 1/4 inch drip with a little emitter attached to it. So that's what I'm doing right now, and just cleaning up this area a little bit. Oh, and anytime when I take something out and put something new in, I use this Plant Tone Fertilizer by Espoma. And I'd like to use the Biotone fertilizer that a lot of people use in theirs, but I haven't found it in my area yet. So when I do, that's what I will use. But for right now, I use the Plant Tone. Okay, I got it all set up. The only thing I didn't set on drip was this pot right there, because it's a temporary pot. I have a lettuce seed in there right now, but I have them all on the same tube, so they'll all get watered the same amount the same day. And I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup and take a break. So I'll be back later. Good morning, guys. It's the next day. I just got started on projects and then it got hot, and anyways, so I didn't finish it off. But this morning, I'm going to go ahead and plant this bed. It was supposed to all be for garlic, but I still can't find organic garlic in the store or at the nursery. So I do have 2 for 6 kale, 6 Brussels sprouts, and then I have 12 cauliflower that I did get to germinate and grow. So I'm going to get those in, and I think I'm going to call it on the cauliflower. I wanted triple that, but 12 is what I have. So I need to get them in there a little wilty this morning. But so, and then I'm working on getting drip ran here. But so there's all the holes, and then in each of the holes I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup or a couple tablespoons of those. I'll show you what it looks like. So that, then I'll just toss it in the hole. And that helped last year with aphids. The one volunteer of kale I had, in that front bed over there, didn't have any. And it was, I didn't even get any kale off of it. It was covered in aphids. So I'll just make sure to, every month or so, make sure that I get some neem in there. Brussels sprouts, last year it got too warm. I did get Brussels sprouts, but then it got too warm. So this will be my technically 4th year of trying Brussels sprouts. So we'll see. I'm going to get after it. As you can see, the sun is starting to peek around and it's getting a little warm. Then I'm working over there on that side, and I'll show you when I get there. And just like that, they're in. And they're all watered in. So now I'm going to get after this area over here. I'm waiting on drip parts. So this will get set up to drip line just like the other side. But I'm getting the weeds removed out of here. I did wetting it down yesterday so that they could come up easier. And there's some really haggard hydrangeas. They look dead, but they're not. They're still wick, or they still have green to them, for those that don't know what wick means. So what I'll do is I'll get those planted, and those are standard Limelight Hydrangeas, so those get pretty big. So they're going to come out to about right here. That way they have room to grow that way and that way. And I'm just going to do 2 right here, because right here a rose is going in, a climbing rose. I mentioned before over on the front gate that this arch and roses will match that one. So I'm going to have the 2 hydrangeas be in this area. So anyways, I'm going to get those weeds cleaned up, and I'm going to get those in the ground just so that they're in the ground and out of those cans. They've been in there all summer, and that's why they look the way they do. But they'll bounce back. Anyways, I'm going to get after that too. So hang tight. But first, a nice latte, honey latte break. Good stuff right there. In the shade of the tomato plant. While I'm taking my little coffee break, I'm just noticing the the abundance of blooms. I certainly hope that they're able to do something. I mean, look at that. This is just 2 plants. Oh, so for reference, I did, this is before I started this, but I did experiment when I planted. This is one plant, and then there's one right there. Jessica over at Roots and Refuge Farm, she puts an egg in the hole of each of her tomato plants. She cracks it based on a horrible experience with an uncracked egg at the end of the season. But anyways, she learned that from an older person. And so these 2 plants, that egg is the only fertilizer they've gotten compared to all the other plants that get the tomato high calcium fertilizer to help with blossom end rot. So these 2 plants have only gotten that initial egg, and that's it, besides water. And they're at the back of the bed, so they faced that's north. So they aren't doing too bad. At first, this one was the one that struggled the most with growing. It seemed stunted. It just didn't look like it was doing very good, but seems like it's doing pretty good to me. Like I said, covered in blooms. I just hope that, I mean, we're supposed to be, and the birds are liking me planting things, so they're going to get in trouble. But we're supposed to still be in the 90s and high 80s all for the next 2 weeks. So I think we'll be okay. Just come on, tomatoes. Then of course I have to put them up, but that's okay. I mean, look at this. These are branches that cracked off because they were too heavy. The blossoms are just amazing. Look at this. Can't even walk down this one. I haven't got it propped up yet, obviously. That is on the agenda today. We'll see. We shall see. I mean, that hoop is so heavy from a branch that it flattened it. But there's fruit on there. All right, break's over. Okay, I got a lot of this area cleaned up. It all looked like that, so, and that's the first plant planted in the future greenhouse and garden. And this is one of the 2. And let's see, it's a zone 3 through 9. Gets 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. So, part sun, part shade. That's where we're at. Pretty cool. Hi guys, I'm just now making it out here again. It was way too hot today, so I got some parts to work on the drip. And I'm going to work on that in the morning, but I'll start back up then. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this one out. And you guys have a great night. And remember to please be kind to everyone and do what makes you happy.